If you do not know how to read sports betting lines, you're going to donate to Vegas long-term and never become a profitable sports bettor. And in this video, I'm going to give you a 10-step checklist to how to read lines like a pro and start winning like the sharp bettors. And no, you do not need to be a seasoned bettor to understand this video. A beginner will understand it. If you've never sports betted before, you're going to understand it as well. The idea is to educate all of you guys so you guys stop falling for Vegas' traps and start winning like a pro. Now, before we start off with today's analysis team, if you guys stick around to the very end, you're going to get the 10-step checklist that I'm going to show you guys right here through this screen. We're going to cover this one by one, but at the end of the video, for those that stick along, they will be able to access this. So whenever they start doing analysis, they're going to have this step-by-step checklist, and they're going to be able to avoid the mistakes that 99% of this industry does. Now, if you guys are growing, learning, expanding, please share the show. This video I'm making because it got the most likes and comments. A lot of you guys requested this video. So all I ask for in return for this video is to leave below where you guys want to learn a little bit more. And whatever comments gets the most likes, I'm going to continue making videos for you guys so you guys can learn, adapt, and grow in this industry. So first thing, when it comes to reading lines, you have to understand one thing. A betting line is a price tag to the game, and the sports book is the store. Keeping it simple. The line is the price tag, and you're paying the store that the store is the sports book. Now, typically, lines move because of public perceptions. Public comes in and bets on games, and we're gonna cover that more in depth here in a bit. I'm just giving you the basis of understanding of how odds work. People bet on one game, and typically the line moves based on that. Now, Vegas's big goal for every single game is to have the money even on one side and the money even on the other side. That way they collect what we call the VIG, the minus 110, the tax that they charge for you to play in their sports book. They're never looking to have lopsided action in one side or the other. But when that does happen, it presents an opportunity for us to be able to attack a game a little bit better and understand if it's a trap or if it's not. With that said, let's get to the reading the lines segment. Step one of reading lines is finding which team looks better on paper. Now, before I dive into the 10-step checklist, I want to give you guys a free opportunity to join my community 7 days completely for free, where you guys get courses on all my system, and along with that, you get daily analysis, in-depth, 10 to 15 minutes going over every game I like, with line movement, with stats, and every part of my system. The link is below to lock in the 7-day free pass. Now, step number one, who looks better on paper? And for those of you that are beginners, we're going to keep it very simple. We're just going to look at records, and we're going to look at the last 3 games that these teams played. And that's going to give you an idea of which team should be favorite and which team should be underdog. We're going to start off with Bills versus Jaguars. Right now we have NFL playoffs going on, and everybody loves NFL, so it's a perfect time to analyze these lines. For you guys that are starting off, I've opened up this website called Score and Odds. It's completely free for you guys. If you guys are a little bit more advanced, you guys should get BSIN. $20 a month gives you guys the access to DraftKings stats, which is very important. Score and Odds combines different books. Not the best information, that's why I do pay for VSIN, but it's good enough if you're starting off. So let's pay attention to game number one. Bills minus 1.5. Right now, that's where the line's open. Records, that's the first thing we're gonna pay attention to. Bills 12-5, Jaguars 13-4. From there, we're going to look at the last 3, which you guys can go to covers.com, completely free as well. Click the matchup, and you're going to see the last 3 games for both these teams. You see the Bills, they played the Jets, they played the Eagles, and they played Cleveland. They covered 1 out of the last 3 spreads. That's very important for you to pay attention to. At the spread, Vegas creates lines. Those lines are based on stats and a lot of information. It's going to be somewhere between 1 to 10.5 point favorite, sometimes even more if the matchup is a little bit bigger of a gap in regards to the skill of both these teams. Now, what you want to pay attention to is if they're covering the spread or if they're not. And it's as simple as seeing if they're covering the spread right here. They lost the spread, they lost the spread, they won the spread. And we're paying attention to the last 3 games only, keeping it very simple. For the Jaguars, they won the last 3 games and they covered the last 3 spreads. As a matter of fact, they covered the last 8 to 9 spreads. And that's something that you want to pay attention to. Because when you're trying to see which team looks better, based on what we just saw, which team looks better? The Jaguars do, right? They're home, they have the better record, and over the last 3, they're playing better. So they should be favored in this spot, right? And they are. Minus 1.5, which leads us to step number 2 and step number 3. Once we see which team is better on paper, we're going to see the opening line. You see the opening line right here, Bills minus 1.5. From there, you want to check where the line is currently at. The line opens up 7 days before the game starts, and it moves based on money and percentage and based on Vegas' stats as well. The line is currently sitting at Jaguars minus 1.5. Now, what I suggest you guys do is go to a sports book. The sports book you use, I like to use the Hard Rock here, and see where that line is currently at. And you see the Jaguars are sitting at minus 1.5. Now your job is to find out why the line moves, which takes us to step number 4, and we'll cover it right now. This is where you need to pay attention because this is where majority of sports bettors lose and end up paying Vegas instead of getting paid by Vegas. Step number 4 is seeing where the line moves, and we're gonna keep it simple, and from there I'll give you guys a live example. Let's say team A opened up as a -1.5 and team B opened up as a -1.5 point favorite in this spot. Let's just keep it simple and let's pretend these are the odds for the simplicity of the matter. Now let's assume that bets and handle. Right now, the bets are going 70% to team A that opened up at -5 and only 30% are going to team B. Now let's assume that the line after a few days moves down to -1.5 in favor of team A. They moved from -5 to -1.5 with 70% of the bets going to them. What would that mean? Does that make sense? And let me explain why that doesn't make sense. At the very start of the video, I explained how Vegas is looking to keep 50% of the bets on one side and 50% of the bets on the other side. Now, if a team gets more lopsided action, they're gonna make that team more expensive. In this case, team A should move from -5 to -6, -7, because Vegas is trying to make it more expensive to attract sports bettor to take the underdog, if that makes sense. Now, if Vegas is moving it the opposite direction, that's what we like to call reverse line movements. And that's a spot the majority of the average sports bettors miss out on. And they like to take the team that looks better on paper rather than playing with Vegas. And in this industry, you wanna play with Vegas. Vegas is the sharpest sharp. This whole theory that we're looking to beat Vegas is bullshit. You want to play with Vegas. They're a $1 billion industry and they create the lines for a reason. They have way smarter people than we do, and that's what we have to know in order to profit in this industry. So with that knowledge in mind, if we see a reverse line movement and the line movement in the opposite direction of where the money is, that's a spot that we need to pay attention to and potentially either fade or stay away. And now we're going to go to a live example in the NFL slate, which is Bills versus Jaguars. And we're going to keep it simple here in score and odds. Lines opened up at -1.5, as you guys can see right here, and it's currently sitting at -1.5 in favor of the Jaguars. Now, one thing I suggest if you guys are going to rely on score and odds only is to go to Hard Rock or to go to a sportsbook that you guys typically use and look at where the line's currently sitting. Jaguars are sitting at -2 at the Hard Rock app right now. Now, where do you check for money and support? In score and odds, as you guys can see right here, game details, you guys can put this down and it's gonna give you guys an average of where the money's going. You'll see the percentage of bets and percentage of money. Bets equals tickets. Percentage of money equals money. In BSIN, it's a little bit different. Bets equals tickets, as you guys can see, and handle equals cash. Now we're gonna keep it in the free website, and as you guys can see right here, Buffalo's attracting 57% of the bets and 54% of the handle, and they opened up as favorites. Now I'm gonna ask you this question, and I'll answer it right after. Where should the line be moving if Buffalo opened up as a -1.5 point favorite and money's going to them? Should it move to -2 or should it be moving in favor of the Jaguars? The answer is it should be moving in favor of the Bills to -2. And Vegas made the Jaguars now a -1.5 point favorite with money and support going to the Bills. We just covered this. This is reverse line movements. And in this situation, you want to play with the reverse. You want to play with the Jaguars in this spot or stay away from this game altogether, team. That's what reverse line movement is. And that's a clear example here in this game. Now we're going to go to the 49ers versus the Eagles game. Line opened up at -3.5 and it's currently sitting at -6. We're going to go to game details here and exactly see who is attracting the money. 77% of the bets are going to the 49ers and 80% of the handle. And the line went from -3.5 to -6. So I'm gonna ask you this question again. Eagles opened up at -3.5, money and support is going to San Francisco. Should the Eagles be moving down or up? If the 49ers are attracting the money, they should be making the 49ers more expensive, which means they should be moving into +3, +2.5, now push it to -6 in favor of the Eagles. Another clear path for reverse line movements. Now, one thing that I want to mention here is that this does not mean that it's a guaranteed winner for the Eagles or for the Jaguars in the previous example that I just gave you guys. It just means that you need to pay attention to this game a little bit more, and if anything, it could save you from falling for a trap, which preventing a loss is just as important as winning in this industry, guys. So that is part 4 through 6. Now let's go to part 7 through 10, and then from there, we're gonna give you access to the checklist. Now the last 4 steps, one of them is regarding football because key numbers are a big part of football. And those key numbers are 3, 7, and 10. And you need to pay attention to these numbers because of the following reasons. Games end by 3, 7, and 10 quite a bit, by a field goal, by a touchdown, or by a field goal plus a touchdown. A lot of the times, as a matter of fact, the percentage of that is over 65%. So that's why they're key numbers that you need to pay attention to. When we transition on here to BSIN, guys, we're gonna pay attention to some key numbers. And the first one is New England Patriots -3.5. Vegas didn't open up at -2.5, -3. They opened it up at -3.5. They didn't open it up at -3, which if it would have hit by a field goal, the Patriots would have pushed. Now, if the Patriots win by a field goal, they're going to lose because the line is sitting at 3.5. So Vegas moving it from 3 to 3.5 or opening it at 3.5 is a very telling number. Just like games that open up at 6.5. Why isn't Vegas opening it up at 7? Or why are they opening it up at 7.5 instead of 7? In those situations, it's clever sometimes to buy the points and get it at that key number, and I do that quite a bit. It's important because a lot of games play out that way, and you can only protect the risk that you have. You don't know what the outcome is going to be of the game, so you want to play conservative in these spots, especially for games that are near those lines. Step 8 is regarding catching traps. Now I'm going to give you a college basketball example right here. First step was looking at records and seeing which team looks better on paper. From there is looking at the last 3 games as well. College basketball, here we have Ohio State versus Washington. 11-4 record compared to 9-6. If you're new to the sport, you're gonna pretend, you're gonna see, and you're gonna know that Ohio State is a little bit better based on record, right? Forget stats, forget the last 3 in the spot. We're just looking at records because a lot of the times people miss this spot. And the following situation is what I like to call a trap game. Vegas is trapping people to take Ohio State. They're an underdog in the spot, yet they're 11-4 and just beat Oregon in Oregon. Washington has been struggling this entire season. That's why they're 9-6. Money and support when we go to game details is all over Ohio State. 75% of the bets and 83% of the handle, yet Vegas is still making Washington as a favorite. Does that look too easy to be true? And if it does, you should probably stay away from that game. And what looks too easy to be true in this spot? Ohio State. So these are what Vegas does. They trap people, they manipulate people with their lines. And majority of the public is going to be on Ohio State, and Washington is going to be a clear winner for 219. So that is step number 8. Is it too easy to be true? Is it a trap? Ask yourself that. If it was as easy as looking at stats and looking at the best record and picking a winner, we'd all be rich and you wouldn't be watching this video, but that's not the case, right? We want to play with Vegas. Step 9, make sure that the line movement has some validity to it and it's not because of an injury. That plays a big role. Sometimes injuries come into play and the line moves significantly because of that. So pay attention to that and make sure that you're not falling for reverse line movements because of an injury. And that is it, guys. Step 10 is the checklist that I promised you guys. That way you guys can go and analyze games and go step by step by step with this image. I'm a visual learner and I learn a lot based on visuals. And I hope this will help you guys as well. I've left the link below for you guys to access it. It's completely free. You guys will get it emailed to you guys. And that is it. Remember, guys, leave below a comment regarding what you guys want to learn more. The comment with the most likes will be the video that I create next, guys. And remember one last part too. Make sure you join the community 7 days for free. You get access to me analyzing these games and seeing real live analysis regarding reverse line movements, regarding reading odds, and a lot more, guys. And you guys get a classroom full of courses, which I'm going to continue adding onto it. So that is it for today, guys. Share the show, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.